Lisa Weederlight.
And this is about your son.
This is about my son, Josh. My son, Josh, was born in 2000. Happy, all nines on his APGAR scores, eye contact early, walking early, talking early. My favorite picture is of my son looking at my sister over my shoulders, eye contact, looking at me, chopping his nails off by mistake, eye contact as an infant, totally normal. Got his MMR vaccine on September 7th, 2001, and within 2 weeks he was a totally different kid.
Did he only have the MMR that day?
I can't remember, but I believe that was it. And what's odd was the doctor, every time he would give us the shots, he would give the shot and just, without even saying a word to us and really looking at us, he would just walk out the room really fast. So I'm kind of thinking maybe he wasn't happy giving the shots either. So we didn't have a scenario where he had seizures or fevers or anything, but literally we had the shots in September, and by Christmas he was looking through us and he was losing words and he had terrible diarrhea and was exploding diapers, and we would go to the doctors and they would say, oh, you'll see, he's just a delay. But he wasn't a delay because he had all these things going for him, like walking early, talking early, sitting up early, eye contact, everything was early. So it wasn't delayed. I don't understand. I think delay means that you're waiting, not that it regressed. So we had the doctors telling us that the diarrhea was normal and it's just sometimes kids have diarrhea. Okay, well, shouldn't you treat the diarrhea? But nobody did. We kept searching for answers, and nobody had any answers. We went to Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C., and they told us that he didn't have autism because he looked at I think it was a nickel or a quarter, and everything looked normal because he looked at it. Like, maybe this was 2001 and nobody knew much about autism back then, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case. So finally we got him diagnosed when he was 33 months, and still we had this bad diarrhea. And finally, after years and years, at 6 years old, we got him potty trained after I listened to a nutritionist, not a doctor, because people told me kids with autism have diarrhea, which I didn't know there was a neurological and biological connection that autism caused diarrhea. We got him scoped because I took Dr. Wakefield's research on autistic enterocolitis to, 2 or 3 people, and they said, get him scoped. We took him to Dr. Kriegsman. He scoped Joshua. We gave him Pentasa because he had inflammation in his colon, and within 2 weeks, Joshua potty trained himself. So
He's still on Pentasa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what Kemp's on as well, I know.
So I do a lot of public policy and try to educate people, and I tell them, look, I'm a mom and I know what I saw. I'm not a doctor, but I can do research. I have a master's degree. I know what research looks like. I can look at the data. And I talk to all parents like us who are well-educated advocates for our children. And I think the only way we can keep doing this is by keep doing what you're doing and keep telling the stories.
So tell us what a day is like for your son now. What's that vaccine taken from him? What's his life like now?
So,
I've met him. He's gorgeous.
Thank you. He gets up at 6:30 every day, if not earlier. He has about 2 cups of medicine juices filled with vitamins and supplements. He has epilepsy now that started when he was 14 years old. Epilepsy does not run in my family. It doesn't run in my ex-husband's family. It just started when he was 14, and the doctors just tell me, well, sometimes that happens when they turn to be teenagers. The same thing we heard, like when sometimes diarrhea happens. And I would swear on the internet and call that BS, so I'll just say BS, but that's BS. It's inflammation, and I know where the inflammation comes from. So he has to take 10, now 11 pills for his epilepsy in the morning. I drive him to school. He goes to a special school for kids with autism, my normal kid who now is not normal. And he spends all day in school, comes home, and we have a caregiver work with him on a home program, 2.5 days a week, 3 days a week. I work with him. He goes to speech therapy. And then in the evening, he takes more medicine juices and 11 more pills for his epilepsy. And he goes to bed.
Are these pills prescribed by a neurologist or a psychiatrist?
A neurologist. And he's still having the seizures, and we're trying to control them. And, they just keep trying more pills, and maybe we'll try the ketogenic diet, and nobody has any answers. And I said, maybe it's hormones because it's puberty. No, it can't be hormones. Maybe it's endocrine disruptors. And these doctors look at me like I'm crazy.
They look at everything and anything as long as it's not the vaccine.
Right. Right. And, I want to know where this inflammation is coming from, even though I know where the inflammation is probably coming from. But, I think that what I want to tell people is like my nieces weren't affected by vaccines, but my son was. And I think what science should look at is this kid was developing normally until he was 13, 14 months old. Now he wasn't. Like, you should be curious why this happened. You should be curious, intellectually curious if nothing else, in the same way with the epilepsy. And they're not. And it's just, let's just prescribe more medicine like that's the answer, when we all know it's hardly the answer. So
And you have a daughter as well?
No. That's my caregiver for my son. She looks like me, I know.
Oh my gosh. I
She could be.
I'm allowed to put the camera
Yeah,
on.
you can, it's fine.
You guys, she looks like your daughter. Check it out, people. I like saying that, but he's hugging you like a sister.
Yeah, he loves her. Good, Josh?
And I was just looking at you both thinking, what a lovely big sister, beautiful. And she looks like your daughter.
Yeah, she does. It's pretty cool.
And so how old are you?
I'm 25.
And you guys, how often do you look after him?
I come about 4 days a week, unless he's with his dad. But yeah, so I just started about a month ago.
Thank you for the work you're doing. He clearly absolutely adores you.
He does. They're tight.
There are lots of games.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely beautiful as well. And he talks.
Yes. Yeah, he has speech. Can you say hi to everyone?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm fine.
Now he had a seizure today, yes?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, and that knocks him out. Knocks him out.
Yeah. So he's a little shy on camera.
Wow, thank you for telling your story.
Sure.
And what a beautiful boy you've got.
Thank you.
And you've done a great job. I'm sorry about the epilepsy. It's horrific.
It is horrific. And, it's just another thing we hear from doctors we don't know. And the answer I have in the year 2016 is, it's time you knew. It's time we know. And we need to start shouting it from the rooftops about our kids. Up to 40% of kids with autism have seizures. Over, 70% have GI issues. And, the higher suicide rate. And it's about time that our legislators know, because I sometimes go on Capitol Hill and all they know is 1 in 68 kids have autism. And that's it. So it's about time we started getting Capitol Hill educated.